If Vince McMahon could have been a character in his own show, he would have been the $1 Million Man.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Unscripted Live, ladies and gentlemen, on tour with Bill Apter and WWE Hall of Famer, former multi-time World Tag Team Champion, and uncrowned WWE Champion. I'll still say that, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. So it's interesting. I think it was WrestleMania. Go ahead, Bill.
Before you start, you told me that you were going to give me money for us to do an interview. That we have.
Oh, yeah. Here it is.
That's how much he thinks you're worth, Bill. Yeah, so, yeah. Very nice, very nice. WrestleMania 4, man, I think that's one of the closest times that you actually had an opportunity to win the WWE Championship with the tournament with Randy Savage. Take us back to just the discussions as far as the tournament and how were you originally used? Were there anything that just changed throughout that time? Let us know about that.
Well, I mean, the whole concept, I mean, it was like, I basically said I bought the title, from, Andre the Giant. He wins it, I buy it, and so, it's kind of like they take it off of me. You're not really the champion. You didn't win it. We can't give it back to Hulk because he technically lost it. They can't give it back to Andre. He won't take it because I paid him off. So what do? You have a tournament to declare a new champion. And so that tournament ended up with me and the Macho Man in the last match. And, of course, Macho Man became the champion. And basically what I did is I came in as the new heel and basically made Randy Savage the new babyface. So anyway, and and that was the first time that Randy and I had ever wrestled each other, and we just, we both came from wrestling backgrounds, and so it wasn't too hard for us to have a great match.
So a fan asked me a question, and I was stumped for an answer. They said, "What is the difference between the $1 Million Dream and the Cobra Clutch?" Can you answer that for me, please?
Yes. Actually, there's no difference. It's just a different name.
That's it?
Yeah.
There's no difference in...
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to call it the Cobra Clutch. If it's going to be mine, it's going to be the $1 Million Dream.
Okay, Chris?
Yes, indeed. So... so that's it. That's the answer. So Mid-South, you're just a huge name back there. Yeah, absolutely. Junkyard Dog and the like. You had a big babyface run there for a moment, and then you became a huge heel. Did you ever enjoy your run as a babyface ever in your career?
Well, I enjoyed it when I first started. Of course, I started in Mid-South for Bill Watts. And the amount of wrestling talent that I was exposed to that Bill Watts brought through the Mid-South territory was incredible. I didn't realize it until hindsight how many really good wrestlers I had the chance to get in the ring with and learn my trade. Dick Murdoch and Killer Carl Cox being a couple of those names. But yeah, to me, that was the best move I ever made. I was just grateful that I made it. And again, Bill Watts, in my estimation, was one of the greatest minds in wrestling at the time because his understanding of the psychology of what we do.
He was a pretty tough taskmaster.
Oh yeah, he was. But for me, it paid off. There's a lot of guys that don't like Bill, and there's a lot of guys that do, and I just happened to like him. But I did tease him a little bit. I said, well, I will say this, Bill. I said, we've become pretty good friends now. I said, but, you could have paid me a little more.
Recently, we lost Virgil.
Yeah.
And I've kept in touch with Virgil for many, many years.
Yeah.
And he always loved being with you. What would you, if you wrote a book about Virgil, what would you title it? Explain Virgil to us.
I mean, that's that's a hard explanation. I mean, Virgil was a good guy. And he wasn't a really gifted wrestler. I mean, I had one match with him, and had he had a better understanding of the psychology of wrestling, we could have done a lot more. But we got the best out of what we had when he got tired of taking my shit.
Right.
So, but aside from that, I mean, on the road and what have you, he was a good guy.
Yeah, my last
And I miss him.
My last question is, you were speaking of hard taskmasters. Of course, you can't say that without saying the name of Vince McMahon. Could you have ever imagined WWE Vince McMahon less?
No. That's really hard for me even today to understand that he is no longer associated with the organization that he built. I mean, and say what you want. I mean, we good and bad. I mean, we all have our issues. But the one thing Vince did was he changed the wrestling industry forever and made it mainstream. Before, pro wrestling was pretty much a blue collar crowd form of entertainment. Yeah,
no question that they thought it was quote unquote fake, but it was a sports category.
Yeah, and so now it's like I can remember I was in Japan on a tour, picked up the paper. WrestleMania 3 sets indoor world attendance record, 93,000 people at the Pontiac Silverdome. And I went, well, what I know is if I'm going to stay relevant in the United States, I'm going to have to go to work for Vince McMahon. And I tell everybody, they say, what about the $1 Million Man, that whole concept? I said, if Vince McMahon could have been a character in his own show, he would have been the $1 Million Man.
You mentioned Japan. You want to tell them the story? We were together,
and
we had a very good time at several karaoke places.
Yeah,
and he and Terry Funk thought I was before I was married would enjoy some female competition.
Well, the other hand,
not competition.
They got companionship. And they had some geisha girls. Well, at least we thought
to meet guys. We'll have to see you at the minute. You don't have that price for that, do you?
Signing off.
Check out BrainBuster, the daily quiz that tests your WWE knowledge with winning streaks, stats, and more. It's time to see if you're up for the challenge.